right, so for this video, we're going to modify our physics in the game and then add the ability to jump. So first thing I want to do is I want to go to my BP player ball, sphere collider, and I want to scroll down to collision. Right here, we have physics material override. Well, what is this? Well, we can set up the material for the physics engine to use when working with it. By default, a spherical object, a round ball, is going to be pretty slippery. And this makes it so when you change directions, it doesn't really change directions all that well. So I'm going to go to my content drawer, go to my blueprints, and then in here, I'm going to right-click New Folder, and we'll do Physics Materials. I'll open this up, and right-click Physics Physical Material. And here we select Physics Material and click Select. We'll name it PM_player ball. And we'll take this physical material and we'll bind this to our override, connect that there. Then we'll open it up. Here we have a bunch of settings we can work with, but we're only going to worry about a few of them. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to take the friction and I'm going to set this to like 100. I want it to be pretty rough. The amount of resistance that you get when you move is important for us to be able to turn quickly. And then our static friction, I'm going to set to about 100 as well. And let's try that and see what happens. Then we're going to click Override Friction Combine Mode. Click on that. And Friction Combine Mode, we're going to set to Multiply. These are just things I've tested out that I felt kind of worked right. All right, once you're done with that, go ahead and click Save and close this because we won't be needing it anymore. Press play. And then now I can move, and for me, it moves a little bit quicker or snappier. But that's not all we have to do, or not all we can do. Right? We'll then go to our BP player ball, sphere collider. For the mass, I'm going to set this to be about 100, or let's do 50. Not everything that we do has to do with the mass, but it does change inertia and momentum. So like how it continues to move. If it's too heavy, it's going to be harder to make move, though our impulse is set to ignore mass. But it will continue to move for a lot longer. So we want to make that relatively light. We still want to be heavy enough to be able to like knock things around. For our damping, so damping basically says the amount of drag force that's added to reduce linear movement or added to reduce angular movement. I'm going to set both of these to, let's do 0.2. Click Compile and Save. And these might take some testing. You can play around with the values and see what you like. For me, this makes it so it controls a little bit easier. Then finally, I'll go to BP player ball, select that, the root object, and I'm going to increase the speed to about 30. Yeah. That's just my personal preference for this. You can have yours be what you want it to be. And now this feels pretty snappy. It changes direction pretty quickly. If I hold on the button and go in one direction for a really long time, I go really, really, really fast, which eventually, if you go fast enough, you can cause some issues. So we need to actually make some changes in our project settings. So I'm going to go to Edit, Project Settings. I'll scroll down to Physics. In here, we want to make sure we have CCD on, which is great. So CCD, yeah, we want it on, so that's great. And then sub-stepping. We want to turn sub-stepping on. Then back in BP player ball with our sphere collider selected, we search for CCD. We want to use CCD. What is that? It's continuous collision detection. This makes it so we don't accidentally clip through things if we're moving through too fast. It is more computationally expensive, so you don't want to do this with everything, but you can do that. Press play, and there we go. Now, those last settings, you're not really going to tell any sort of difference in what happened. Those are there more for protection against any possible eventualities. All right, now we need to set up jump. For this, we're going to go to our IMC, and we're going to add a new mapping. We'll hide these so we can see it. It'll be IA jump. And then for IA jump, I'm going to map this to the spacebar. You can use a different button if you want. You have that. Go ahead and save that and close IMC. We're done with it for now. I'll go to my inputs, my actions, and then open up IA jump. And for this, we want the value type to be digital bool. This is saying, did you hit the button? It's true or false. That's it. Because this is a triggered event, so like you don't continue to jump, you jump once, maybe twice if you set up to do that. We don't want a continuous input. We don't care what directions are. We just want to know, did you press it or did you not? Easy enough there. We can go ahead and close IA jump. Let's go to our event graph in our BP player ball, and we need to set up jump. So I'm going to right click and I'll type in jump and get IA jump. From triggered, we're going to drag out and we'll do add impulse. We want to add it to the sphere collider. So we're going to add an impulse when we hit jump. And I'm going to set the impulse on the Z to be about, I don't know, let's say 50. And we'll do vel change on, turn that on. Compile and save, press play. And I can now jump, but not really jumping as much as hovering. And that's not really what we're looking for. Because the input mapping says, hey, did you press it or did you not? If you're holding the button down, that's always going to be yes. So that just keeps adding in more of an impulse. It's not really what we want. So we need to control this. Well, one, we need to actually create a variable for the jump force. So I'll make a new variable and I'll call it jump force. And I'll make this visible and compile. Then I'll select my BP player ball. I set my jump force here to, let's go with 100 just to see it work. So let's go ahead and take that jump force. We'll do a get. If we ever get jump force, I'm going to go to my impulse here on the right. I'm going to right click and split. And I'm going to select my jump force to impulse Z. So we can now modify pretty easily how our jump force works. Now we need a ability to check if we can jump, if we're supposed to be able to jump, right? We don't want to be able to double jump. We want to add impulse one time. And then once they hit the ground again, then you can jump again. So how do we check that? The easiest way to check that is through a flag. We're going to create a new variable and we'll call it canJump. And we'll set it to a Boolean, true or false. Booleans are only ever true or false. Can we jump? Yes or no. I'm going to break this connection between add impulse and IA jump, and I'm going to drag it off from here, and I'm going to create a branch node. Now the branch node is a conditional. It's checking true or false. Is the thing you passed into it true or is it false? If it's true, we jump. If it's false, we can do something else. But what is that condition? Well, that's going to be canJump. I'll do get canJump and drag that here. Then compile and save. And then we will go and press jump. Oh, no, we can't jump yet. Well, that's because we never set our canJump to be true, ever. So we needed to modify that. after add impulse, after we do a jump, we're going to drag canJump and set, and we're going to set canJump to false. We don't want to be able to jump again once we've jumped once. We'll select our canJump variable here, and then on the right, we can set our default value to canJump. That way, as soon as you spawn in, you can jump, but you can't jump again. You can only jump one time. So let's test that out. There we go. I jumped just a little bit, but I did. Obviously, I need to set my jump force to be much higher. I'll do that. I'll set to like 10,000, just so we can really see it. Oh, that's way too much. Set to 1,000 so we can really see it. There we go. Now for our game, it's way too high, but we'll get there. Now, we can only jump once. Our variable that says we can jump gets changed to false, so that way we can never jump again. How do we reset that? Well, we want to make it so once the sphere collider hits the ground or something, you can jump again. Well, I'll go to my sphere collider and I'm going to search for simulation generates hit events. So when we hit something, we can do something. So when our player ball hits something, do something. Okay. For now, this will be sufficient. This isn't the most efficient way of doing this, but it works for right now. Now I can right click and make a new event for hit. So I'll do event hit. When we hit something, we will set canJump back to true. This means because we can only jump if canJump is true, right? And once we jump, we set it to false. We can't jump while we're in the air, but as soon as we hit the ground again, we can jump again. So compile and save. I'm going to set my jump force to something a little more reasonable. I'll do 500. Press play, jump. And I can jump again once I hit the ground, but I can't jump multiple times. I can move forward and I can jump. And I can kind of like jump a bunch of times, but only after I hit the ground again. Now I cannot control my movement when I jump. And that's probably for best. All right, so that's it for this one. A bit longer, but we got a lot done, and our game's starting to feel kind of like a game. It's kind of cool, right? So that's going to be it for this one. And the next video, we're going to set up obstacles and some blocks, and then prep for our first checkpoint. So that's it for this one. Thanks.